Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. This video, we're looking at the Thursday NBA slate. 6 games tonight, tipping off 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So let's get started. As always, appreciate you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. And let's get started. If you want updates, you can check out the Twitters in the description. So, starting off here at point guard, we have a couple at the top, starting with Luka Doncic, who had that game-winning shot with zero point 0.1 seconds left against Boston the other day. He looked really good out there, almost had a triple-double. And Porzingis once again questionable, so Porzingis is out. Luka's going to once again have to carry the load. So I think we'll have to, if Porzingis is out, he looks better. If Porzingis is in, he still looks fine, but he definitely can go to some other pay-ups like Giannis or Jokic or Harden. Harden is 10-8 going up against this Orlando defense, which has been struggling recently, playing absolutely huge minutes, 41, 41 last couple games. And if you give Harden that many minutes without Durant, he's going to be able to put up values at a good price tag still. He is probably my preferred pay up at this position more than Luka Doncic right now. And Westbrook's really turning his season around, and the Wizards have been playing better. They got blown out by the Clippers last game, but that was a back-to-back after he played 44 minutes against the Lakers. He almost had another triple-double in that game. He's been doing a lot more with the peripherals and being a lot more efficient, which is something he hasn't been doing earlier in the season. He was shooting like 40%, 30% a lot of these games, and now recently it's been 60 plus, 50 plus, 50%. Against Denver, it's a all right spot. They're dealing with injuries, so their defense isn't as good as it could be, especially with Michael Porter playing huge minutes, and they're not having a lot of size in the front court besides Jokic with Millsap out and Green out. So I don't mind Westbrook. I still think I'd rather go up to Harden or go down a little bit. You have Jamal Murray at 8,400. This game is going to be fun to target. You can definitely get a lot of pieces from it or stack it up. Nuggets still dealing with a bunch of injuries. They should be able to put up some points here against Washington. Jamal Murray's playing the best basketball of his season right now. Has been super efficient, uber efficient. He's been getting you a lot more peripherals with assists, rebounds, and he's playing a lot more minutes because they don't have a lot of bodies right now with missing a couple of their starters. So he's the first guy that I want to get to at this position at point guard. I think he looks great. He gives you 60-point ceiling, if not a little bit more than that at 8,400. Don't mind De'Aaron Fox, 78. I think you can get some pieces in this Sacramento game as well. You have John Moran is cheap, but I don't really want to get a ton of action in that game because unless Brooks is out, you can go to like some value with like Winslow, but he's been really bad so far. Halliburton looks okay. He had a really good game, which was pretty surprising considering that Barnes was back and he did that off the bench. He gives you a ton of upside. He played 40 minutes off the bench, so obviously the coach loves him. And still at a decent price tag. I think people are going to go back to him, so we can go a bit different of a route. Don't have much interest in Lou Williams or MCW or really Lonzo Ball. And then for value at this position, it's Derrick Rose is another guy you're definitely going to want to get to. Plug him in at shooting guard. It's nice that he's shooting guard eligible as well. And then you have Quickly as another value player who should see mid-20 minutes off the bench at least. And then you have Winslow, who's 3,800. He's been seeing 25 and 26 and 21 minutes in his 2 games back. He's been really bad so far. If Brooks is out again, then you'll still see decent minutes. If Brooks is in, we could see his minutes get a little bit reduced. It's because they have another body in there, and Jenkins plays a bunch of guys. But he's been pretty disappointing. I don't know if going up against the Clippers is a spot that he can get back on track. But Derrick Rose, 46, against this Sacramento defense, which is one of the worst in basketball. They give up a ton of threes. They give up a ton of points. They play fast. The Knicks get a huge pace-up spot. They are one of the slower-paced teams, and they're getting like a giant pace spot. So this game should be a lot higher scoring than the Knicks games are typically used to. And Rose, with Elfrid Payton doubtful to play, he probably will start. And if we get like high 20s, low 30s minutes out of Rose at this price tag against the Kings, I think he should be able to hit you value pretty easily. At shooting guard, I like Kyrie. I like Beal. Beal's price tag has dipped a little bit. He's at 92. So when he was like 9,900, I wasn't getting to him. But this price tag is definitely fair enough that we can take some shots in tournaments. Then I don't really get to Middleton at this price tag. I don't really think I'll get to Paul George. Fournier, Ross, both expensive. Ross has been doing great off the bench. Fournier has been doing also pretty solid. Rough shooting game last time out, but has shown a bit of a 45-point upside. I don't think I'll get to him against Brooklyn, even though the matchup is great, just because I never really feel great about paying that much for Fournier. And then you have Buddy Hield, who's cheap at 6,100 as another price tag, who's kind of been coming down. He was 66, 65, 63, down to just 61. He was over 7,000 a few weeks ago, and it's not an easy spot against the Knicks. But one thing you do like to see with Buddy Hield is that he is playing a lot better on the road. He's getting a couple more minutes, but his shots have been falling a lot more, shooting like 40% from the floor and shooting almost 39% from three on the road compared to at home where he's been struggling a bit. So I don't think you can go really wrong with this price tag. I think he looks a little bit better than Halliburton just because I think Burton might get more ownership, and I think Hield is probably due for a good shooting game. Then I don't want to play MCW. I don't really want to get to Joe Harris unless they're still missing unless TLC is still out and Green is still out. And for value, maybe you can look at Hardaway Jr. if there's no Porzingis and no Kleber. Same thing with Richardson. It's going to be dependent on the Porzingis news for a lot of these role players on the Mavs. And Burks looks fine, but I think I'd rather go to Rose and quickly, so he'd be my third cheap option. And that's pretty much it at shooting guard. Small forward, you have Kawhi Leonard, really good price tag at 93. His price tag has dipped a bit, but whenever both him and George are in there, it's tough to get to either one because both kind of take away from each other. And we haven't seen a lot of games this season where both go off, so I still think he looks good, but I don't think I'll have him just because I want to get to some other spend ups on the slate. And Ben Simmons, 8,700. He actually, it seems like whenever the All-Star selection is near is when Ben Simmons plays really well. Had that 74-point outing, DraftKings points against the Jazz, which might have propelled him to get into the All-Star as a reserve. And then with Embiid back, I don't really want to go to him. Then Middleton, haven't really been getting to him. It's a good spot, a good game. I think that game will be pretty good for fantasy. I'd rather go up to Giannis or rather go to like Zion in a similar price tag, or you can even go down to Ingram. And then right in this range, I like Buddy Hield. I like Michael Porter Jr. He's $6,000. Played 39 minutes last game. Should be in line to play a lot of minutes tonight as well against Washington with all these injuries. Still, we're waiting for like an explosion game out of him. Only taking 9 shots, 7 shots is not something we're normally used to out of Michael Porter Jr. But it's against Washington where everybody should go off, and I probably want to get to at least a couple of these Nuggets players. So he is definitely on the list. And then we have a pretty nice price tag on RJ Barrett. $5,500 against Sacramento. You probably want to get to at least one Nick and Rose, maybe 2 Nicks without Alfred Payne in this type of matchup, just because Tibbs places starters to the ground. And RJ Barrett has been struggling with his shot at times, like 1 of 9 last game, but before that he was playing a little bit better. 3 games shooting over 45%. He's definitely a volatile player, but this price tag is something that we'll normally not get in this type of matchup. And he still has shown to play big minutes when he's playing well. If he's not playing well, then the coach will go to some other guys. But missing one of their starters, I feel like Barrett's minutes should be more secure tonight, and it's just such a good spot against Sacramento. Power forward, you have Giannis, who looks great. Like, nothing stopping Giannis, really. Zion against Giannis will be fun to watch. Julius Randle looks all right at 91. I'd rather go to a couple of other places. I like Zion at 86. Don't think I'll get to Tobias at 81. Porzingis, don't think I'll get to him either. Have pretty good price tags on Bagley at 57. There's no Whiteside for this game, so Bagley will see some backup center minutes, hopefully. And if Kleber is out, you can look to James Johnson, who probably will start in his place. Or if Porzingis is out, Johnson's only 3,200. He looks like a great value play. Right now, I'm going to plug in Michael Porter Jr. just because I want to get to a few pieces of this Nuggets team, and I like the price tag still on Porter. It's like 6,000, probably the highest I want to get to right now, but this matchup makes up for it. At center, we can go a couple of places. You probably want to pay up for at least one of these studs. You have Giannis, Jokic, Vooch, and Embiid. I like Jokic the most, then Giannis, then Vooch, then Embiid. And in the mid-range, I like Zion a bunch. I like Holmes as a value play at 57. Without Whiteside, his minutes should be more secure. And the Knicks play big with Noel and Randall, so he should see a lot of minutes unless he's in foul trouble. And that is mainly it for the mid-range. For value, you have like Mo Wagner, who's super risky, but he can give you like a tournament-winning score because he gives you 10x upside. Never know how many minutes he's going to get if he struggles out of the gate like he did against 3 minutes. That's all the coach gave him. And then he got pulled against Denver like a week ago. But if he's playing well, if he starts out the gate shooting the ball well, he's going to get good minutes. And we know what he can do at times. So definitely risky, but he's worth it on a short slate to consider. So definitely take a shot on him, I would say. And if there's no Porzingis again, you can look to Dwight Powell or Willie Cauley-Stein, whoever starts. So right now, I'm going up to Jokic 10-4. I mean, they're going to have Wagner and Robin Lopez defending him, playing absolutely huge minutes. Feel like he's due for a 60 plus 70 burger type of performance. I think he's going to get a triple double tonight, or have a really good shot to get a triple double against this Washington team. So sign me up for some Jokic. I like the Nuggets. They are my favorite team to target on the slate, with Jamal Murray, Jokic, and Porter being the favorites. And last but not least, you can look to. I'll go ahead and plug in Buddy Hield. Get a couple of Knicks in there. I think you can run it back with a Sacramento Kings. So then Buddy Hield at 6,100 looks good. His minutes are really secure. He's getting you at least 30 a game. If he's playing well, shooting the ball well, get you 35 to 37. A couple of down shooting games, but I think he's definitely due, and I like this game a bit just because of some injuries on the Knicks side, and then Buddy Hield. Price tag has definitely come down to like 68, 7,000 he was at the beginning of the month. Down to 61, and he's still gonna chuck the ball, he shoots a ton, and he's actually been okay with the peripheral. So as long as he has a good shooting game, I think he'll be able to hit you value at this price tag. And that is pretty much it for this first look at this DraftKings slate for tonight. Go ahead and touch on my FanDuel plays for you guys. Okay, on FanDuel here, looking at point guard options, Luka is 11,000. Be a bit dependent on Porzingis, but he's been good with or without Porzingis this season. So you can plug him in if you wanted to. If you wanted to go to a cheaper route, I think you can look to Westbrook at 9,200. You have Jamal Murray at 83. You have De'Aaron Fox at 77. And then Derrick Rose is at 57. So you have a bunch of options here. All look pretty solid. And then for value, you have Monty Morris at 47 if he starts again. And that is mainly it for the values. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and plug in Derrick Rose. He's 57. I assume he'll start. It's such a good spot that I think he'll get you at least 30 FanDuel points with upside to get you 40 or more. At shooting guard is Harden at the top, 11-2. You have Bradley Beal. I'd rather go to Harden than Beal. Halliburton is up to 75. That price tag is definitely high. I don't think I'll get to him at all. Buddy Hield is $1,700 cheaper. Give me some Buddy Hield, assuming all you need is a good shooting game out of Buddy Hield, and you'll be set. I like Ross a little bit at 6,200 just because his minutes are high right now with them being short on some bodies. And then Bruce Brown had a career high. If they're getting some of their pieces back, I don't want to go back to him. He's priced up to 5,000. You can look to Quickly at 46. You can look to Burks. But I think the mid-range is pretty strong. You have a few pieces at least in the mid-range. And Buddy Hield at 58 is just really cheap. Small forward, you have Kawhi at 97. I won't get to that price tag. I like Middleton a little bit at 76. I like him more than Fournier. And then you have Michael Porter at 57. He looks solid. I like RJ Barrett at 55. Yeah, Will Barton, if you wanted to go different than Porter, he's 5,000. And depending on some of these Dallas news, you have Richardson 47, Finney Smith 43, Winslow 39 if Brooks is still out. So the 5K and 6K range is pretty strong, even the 7K range. Right now I like Porter 5,700. Power forward options, Giannis 11-4 is always looks tremendous, basically every single slate, especially without Holiday right now. Randall looks fine. I like Zion at 8,500. Porzingis, take a wait and see approach if he's in. The price tag is still really nice on him on FanDuel at only 7,800. I like Bagley a little bit, just without Whiteside, should get some backup center minutes, which will help him in some of these fantasy scoring, like rebounding and maybe some blocks. Then you have Wagner at 49, so he's not a play on FanDuel. He's much more of a play on DraftKings. Bertans is 45 if he goes. he's such a risky player just because if his shot's not falling, he'll get you nothing. But if his shot does fall, he'll get you like a big time score. So definitely worth it to take some shots in tournaments. James Johnson 4,000 if there's no Kleber and he starts again, looks good. And then you have Aminu at 37. I'd rather go Johnson than Aminu if there's no Kleber. Right now, I'll go ahead and plug in Zion at 8,500. And then last but not least, at center, love Jokic at the top. He's my favorite at 10.8. Then I like Vooch, then Embiid. And then Holmes at 64 is worth it. Feel like one of these three at the top is going to go for at least like 60 or 70. So, and it's tough for me not to like Jokic. Against Washington in this type of spot, they should put up a ton of points. Only concern you have a little bit is if Washington can stay in this game, but they've been playing well. They've won 5 of 6. So I feel good that this game will be close enough where we'll get full minutes out of Jokic, out of Murray, out of Porter, and those are the main pieces that I want to get to on this slate. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.